No, it's so true. And people, have all sorts of areas on the body that make them feel like home, I can tell you.
Please tell me. Hi everyone, welcome to The Human Experience with Bree Nicholls. I am so very lucky to have Belinda Wiley here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Belinda is a sex and relationship coach, and she is here today to answer some of the questions which you guys have sent in. We have some very juicy topics today.
Really? Okay.
So if you are ready, shall we just dive in straight away?
Let's just go for it.
Let's go for it. What makes a sex addict's attitude towards sex different and less meaningful? I suppose they meant different to them and whatever that is.
Yeah, that's a powerful question.
Yeah.
I'll be really honest and say I don't have a lot of experience with sex addicts. It's not my area of training. So if I give my opinion now, it will be my opinion.
Thank you.
Not based on my experience.
Yeah.
But I think if someone's got is addicted to anything, it becomes an obsession. And often it overrides everything. Whereas if you're in a loving relationship, you are a lot more present, and you, I just think you're really present, and you're aware of somebody else, and it's something going between two people. Whereas an addict can often be really.
I'm hearing consumed.
Very consumed and very in all about them.
I haven't properly explored my sexuality due to shame and past trauma.
Yeah.
What are some ways I can start to do that?
I think my first response is hire a coach like me because most people have had a lot of trauma.
Yes.
In fact, we all have to a degree. We're just not aware of it. And I'm very trauma aware, and that's what I'm always dealing with when people come to me because something's not working in their relationship. And usually we find there are blocks, and they're usually old trauma. And so they're holding themselves back. So I think the most important thing is to get some help.
Yeah.
And some questions will be asked, and you'll start to get a bit of a picture about what maybe you've experienced and what you're missing out on and what you really want and how we can get you there. So that would be my answer.
That would be quite an amazing journey for people to embark on.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty, it's powerful because often people don't realise what's holding them back. We all think, oh yes, we can do this and we can have that, and then they don't realise that some people freeze and some people are numb, and everyone has a different experience. And when they get held by someone with the work that I do, they suddenly get some aha moments. Oh, so that's why that's not working. Oh, gee, I hadn't experienced that before. And so you can work these things out with somebody else. If you're going to try and navigate it on your own,
that's tricky, isn't it?
That's really hard. Yeah.
It's kind of like stabbing in the dark.
Yeah, to be honest.
I'll try here. I have been really hurt in previous relationships, particularly surrounding sex. Yeah. Is there anything I can do to help heal these wounds?
Yes. Yes, once again, this is coaching work. The first part is being witnessed in it. Most people often hold this. They hold this all inside. People come to me and they say, I have never told anybody that ever in my life.
And that's so powerful to release it to an expert and for them to just witness you and say, and not freak out and go, oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah.
And that is my training. I can hold anything. I really, really can. I've heard so much, some amazing things from people that have shared from their deepest wounds and really difficult things they've been through, and I can hold it. I've been held and trained and experienced. My training was very thorough. So yes, and people I find once they speak it out loud and are witnessed in it, there's a relief, an instant relief that is quite palpable. And then if they want to move through and find out any more, we can do that too.
Oh, this is a great one. Oh my gosh. What is the best advice for a long, healthy and happy relationship?
Oh. The best advice for a long, happy and healthy relationship. Well, I have been in my marriage for 36 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations.
It is pretty amazing, actually.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it hasn't always been happy. I think, relationships have ups and downs, and that is natural and normal. But I think I'm trying to think of something succinct to give. But actually, you need to grow together, and you need to give each other space, and you need to have intimacy, which is basically a mix between sexual intimacy and just personal intimacy, and being able to talk and being able to sort of be each other's friend and encourager for what you want to be in the world. So there's a lot of respect but love, but the sex piece has got a lot of depth to it. And I think that's what I didn't understand, and what I realise now is when you have true sexual intimacy with your partner, you meet at a sort of a soul level more so than just the act, and it deepens your there's a closeness, there's a level of energy that, and this is what I found in my own relationship in the last 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
We were going along fine up and down here and there, but since we've had this in-depth intimacy around our sex life, and we've just shifted into a way more deeper, loving, softer, kinder. It's quite
really
magnificent, actually. Yeah.
The last few times I have had sex with my partner, he finished and then the sex was over. I felt objectified and used, even though I know that this wasn't his intention. So what do I do with this feeling? So it sounds like the partner has finished and she has not.
Yeah. I feel like I've been there before. I'm sure a lot of people would relate to that
I'm sure
feeling.
they do, indeed.
So without making anyone wrong here, it is a conversation. It is an expectation. It is mismatched, really, awareness. And nobody often says anything at that moment. They just feel it. And so the feelings are in the body, and somebody's feeling amazing and somebody's feeling crap. And it's like, he was wrong, or he probably didn't mean to, but how do we fix this? And there has to be some intention. I teach people, really, women particularly, to set things up differently now. So they have some conversation with their partner beforehand. I've got lots of different techniques I use. I ask couples to talk about, have some chat beforehand about what they're feeling, what they want, what they need, maybe sort of touch on what they're concerned about or fearing, what they'd want.
Get that out of the way first,
rather
than
deal with it it's done
later.
in a loving way. It's almost like a foreplay I love to teach my girls, my women. And so you get this clarity beforehand. And from a woman's perspective, and this is what my husband did, it's so good having these conversations, because often they don't know. I mean, does anyone really have a conversation about how it's going to go?
No.
I was never taught. Where everyone just sort of fumbles their way through the dark.
I know, and I bet they would want to make, I'm sure the partner would, of course, want you to be happy after having sex with them.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they'd want that to be the outcome. So, it's benefiting for both people to kind of go in there with a clear intention.
Yeah. And also, what would I do with this feeling? What would I do with this feeling? Well, what may I suggest? share it. Share that feeling.
Next question is, how can I bring the fire and yumminess, great words, by the way.
Yes,
How can I bring the fire and yumminess into sex with my husband again? I sometimes feel weirdly shy to try.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very common.
Oh, yeah.
And this is sort of what I focus on with a lot of the women I work with. They're already having sex. It's okay. Some of them call it vanilla. And they want more spice, more fire. So straight away, I say to women, you need to experiment with yourself first. Because sometimes you can take that to your partner and it can be really received as a criticism. And we don't want that, because we don't want anyone feeling wrong here. We're trying to love people in a relationship, wanting to have the best time for each other. So, it's good if women just get back in touch with what's really good for them. That's why I love women to have a self-pleasure practice. It shifts and it starts to what it does is it starts to make, as I start moving my hips, it starts to make them feel, they know they're capable, because often they're not sure and they think maybe their partner, it's going to come from the partner. If he does this, I'm going to suddenly feel like this. And they don't know, so it's almost like an experiment. And sometimes you've just got to play with your partner. There's no, if you do this, that's going to happen. It's an experiment. So I say start with yourself, use some beautiful practices on your own body with your own self-pleasuring, and just get back in touch with that and what works for you.
I have experienced big tantrums and fights when I haven't wanted to have sex with previous boyfriends. Yeah. I don't understand why they take this so personally rather than just letting me be.
So, to me, it's something you have to have a conversation about. I mean, you can have a laugh about it. You say, "Oh, I'm feeling like something," and the other one's like, "Oh, I'm not really," but what could we manage here? It's like, rather than no in a big thing, it's like, well, actually, not today. It's like, how do we work with each other so you're not a big flat no? Because I think that's where the rejection piece can come, and it can go both ways actually. But if there's something underlying that is something else that's going on in the relationship that is spilling over into the sex life, it could be something else that's not being addressed. There might be resentment has built up over an issue, and so when one partner's wanting the sex and the other one's like no, it could be something else. So I'd need
it's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it could also be
sides to it,
that person gives all the time, and so then the person's like, but you're giving all the time, so how come you're saying no to me in this area? Just don't know.
So that's what I mean. It's that prioritizing sex and where that comes in your relationship and your and your time, and that's quite complex, but
it is.
Conversations once again help.
How can someone be so into someone else and yet the feeling isn't reciprocated? And so where in the body does that yearning or love come from? From the person who's like, really, like, I'm in love with this person, and the other person doesn't feel it.
Yeah, I think if when somebody's attracted to somebody else and it's not coming back at them, I think all parts of your body are probably on alert. You might be using your eyes, your brain's sort of saying, oh, and you're probably your sexual organs, your heart, everything will be sort of on alert to wow. And that's not the same for the other person. So I don't think there's just one place that
comes from.
It would come from, in my opinion.
And I also think, don't you think that we discover and learn attraction, what we're attracted to, from a really young age? And so everyone is so different. There could be like, I remember this woman used to get on my bus and she had really long, beautiful red nails, and I was just like fascinated. I was like, oh my God, I just love those long red nails, and I just remember thinking about that, and it's just really stuck with me that I've always loved that image of kind of glamorous woman. And like we're kind of probably collecting data like that all the time.
I think you're right. There's sort of a look, and also I think your body, I certainly know this just from the work that I've done, that there's certain smells on people that are very attractive.
Pheromones?
but also smells when you meet people, you know, something sort of sets you off. You don't always know, but it triggers the senses.
Wow, that's
and
so
other people's
cool.
senses are different. Yeah. I always say to people, if you're in a relationship and you're not sure if things aren't quite going well, I always ask them, do you like the way your partner smells? Yes. It's a really big piece.
How do we navigate through safety and consent in the modern day world of dating apps such as Tinder, etc.?
Navigating through anything, any relationship is really taking full responsible for you. And one of the things I still touch on a lot when it comes up with some of my clients is know your yeses and your nos.
Very well.
Very well.
Very well. Like that's a strong no.
Yeah, but it's like, but when you meet people,
yes,
it's like yes and no, and
trust.
And the way you learn your yeses and your nos is you have to be present in your body.
Listen to the intuition that your body so knows, and trust it.
Yes.
And
it
don't
has
second
deep
guess.
wisdom.
Yeah, it has deep wisdom. Yeah. How do I meet my girlfriend's needs? I worry I'm not going to fulfill her physical needs and that she will look and go elsewhere. I think that might be a common one for our...
It's very common.
Men.
It's common for all of us. I mean, we all want to fulfill our needs. But if we were going to say it was a man asking, just for example, asking a question, I still believe that men feel that it's their job to know these things and to not upset the person and to make it good and to do the right thing. Or in a partnership of same sex, maybe one person will take that role more than the other.
Yeah.
And as I say, I keep saying, have the conversation backwards and forwards. What are you needing? What are you wanting? How are we going to get this today? And, what should we do? It may sound a little bit clinical, but you can do it in such a fun, playful way. It's just communication is key. It's just everything. You don't have to be talking all the time, but just at the beginning of the setup or even another conversation that you maybe not having sex or having intimacy that day, you might bring it up another time. Hey, when can we have a bit of a chat? Because there's just a couple of things I'm a little bit concerned about or I'm worrying about. And I know you don't want me to be worrying, but can we just go over it? So things like that, rather than waiting for the moment or the time or when somebody feels like they're in the mood and then you've got all this angst about it.
It's built up.
Yeah.
And maybe
I think
out of
that's
proportion.
what makes it gets bigger than it really is.
Yeah.
So, I think that's my response to that is just having some curiosity and,
What I'm really learning from our conversation today is be up for having conversations, invite that into your dynamic, whoever it is that you're seeing or in a relationship with or interested in. And I'm also learning this really beautiful attribute of being playful. So being playful and curious with both yourself and your partner. And it has a really nice opening energy to it of, nobody's wrong here. We're just going to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today some of your expertise and wisdom that you've learned over the years of being a sex and relationship coach, and being really willing to be here today. It's just, I learn something new every time, and I'm certainly going to be taking away a few things for my husband and I.
Well, I'm just so passionate because I think people need to talk about it more because it's a part of our life. It is still a taboo subject. People are a little bit awkward and uncomfortable, but I think times are ready. I think people are ready for the new.
Ready.
They're ready for to have some honesty around it and to sort of take away the shame because we're all here because our parents had sex.
Because of sex. We're all here
and
because of sex.
That's just one part, is making babies, but there's so much pleasure to be had, and it's our sort of God-given right to have fun. And
we've been given these beautiful physical bodies.
Yes, use them and have fun.
I can see how like playful and sensual you are with your body. It's so cool.
I know, I'm jumping around a little bit, don't I?
Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Bree.
being a part of the human experience. It's been so cool.
It's been great. I loved it. Hi, I'm Belinda Wiley, and I've just been on the human experience with Bree LaRue. It was fabulous. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to know more about me, please find me on Facebook, where I'm there a lot, and I give a lot of Facebook Lives with lots of tips and tricks about your sex life. Or you can find me on my website, belindawiley.com.